You mentioned service a lot, and for me, look, I think it's really wonderful to have a great lifestyle. In the 5 a.m. Club, I share a lot of the ideas that have been very helpful to me in terms of building a beautiful lifestyle. It's really important.
An environment.
An environment.
Yeah.
Your ecosystem is going to drive your performance. So being around art. There's a model in the book called Joy as a GPS, releasing toxic people and populating your life only with people who fuel your joy.
Yeah.
Traveling. There's a lot of good science coming out that traveling boosts creativity. Prosperity is very important. You can do beautiful things for your family. So I think living a lifestyle that inspires you and that is beautiful is so great for your craft and so great for your creativity and so great for your productivity. I think it's really important to surround yourself with people who are curious and have high integrity and who stand for possibility and who are all about growing and doing their part to make the world a better place. So a lifestyle is important, and my craft is very important to me, much more important than applause. But the dominant thing I work on in conversation is I want to be used by, I don't know what word resonates with you, spirit, source, life, nature, God, whatever that energy is that brings up the sun and allows the trees to grow and the tides to shift and us to breathe. There is a power that is indisputable. And I think if we get out of our smaller selves and scarcity and selfishness, there is an amazing accounting system to life. When you actually take a trust walk and go, whoa, what if I stop making it so much about me? And I go out there and I bring on ridiculous value to the world through my work. And in every room I'm in, I radiate possibility. And I see the best in people versus hunting for the worst. And what if I listen to this conversation and say, I'm not Nelson Mandela, I'm not Mother Teresa, I'm not Martin Luther King Jr., but I matter in the world, and I'm alive for a reason, and no matter what my current conditions are today, through small, daily, seemingly insignificant improvements when done consistently over time, I can manufacture a much better career and a much better world. So if you come from that place of service and you take a trust walk and say, I'm going to build myself up through a great morning routine, and that's the starting point. You could, read the books and go to the events. That's incredibly important. But the tactic is 5 to 6, your victory hour, the 20-20-20 formula. So you prime the mind, the neurobiology, and we can get into the 20-20-20 formula if you like. But you take that sacred space for yourself in a world of distraction, busyness, and shiny toys, so that by 6 o'clock, you are intimate with your inner hero. And then you go out in the world and you say, I'm going to just serve and I'm going to help.
Yeah.
And I think that is what the real titans on the planet do.
I think, and I think we feel the most fulfilled when we serve and help. I think obviously we want to serve ourselves first to make sure our needs are met and we're taking care of ourselves, like this morning routine. But then once we have filled our cups up, we've got to outpour of love to the world. I think that's what eliminates anger. That's what eliminates depression. That's what eliminates insecurity. Is when we're focused outward, not always insecure about what we're lacking. And I just think it's a powerful thing. There's so many people who are hurting right now, and they just continue to focus on the hurt and what's wrong and victim. But when we take ownership and responsibility for our thoughts, our behaviors, and our actions, and we serve other people and have a bigger mission. Just a lot of that just starts to go away. It's the antidote to depression is service, you know?
Yeah, I think if we were to fast forward to the last day of our lives, and that's why mortality and connection with the mortality is one of the most important things to do every morning while the rest of the world is asleep.
Yeah.
Because even if you live a brilliantly long life, and Lewis, for you and your millions of followers, I wish them long, beautiful, healthy, prosperous, creative lives that are of service. But no matter how long we get to live, even when we biohack,
Yep.
the journey is a really short ride. And I believe when we get to the last hour of our last day, what will bring joy to our hearts and what will define whether our lives were successful will not be how many likes we had, whether people thought we were cool, whether even we were icons in our industry and had all the material things that the world says will bring us joy, peace, and fulfillment. I think life's, when you strip away all the accessories, it comes down to two primary things. Who did you become? Did you use those rocks people throw at you in your hard times as well as your beautiful times to sculpt a pristine character of empathy, compassion, bravery, nobility, decency, and honesty? And even if the world doesn't see that, why does that matter? As long as you know who you became. And secondly, how many people did you help? You know, I go into coffee shops and taxis and airports and I see these unappreciated heroes. And that's the shoe shine person who dances, and I think it's the Atlanta airport. And I was in the Johannesburg airport. There was a man cleaning toilets, and he said, "This is my welcome to my office. I'm an ambassador of South Africa." And he kept his office as clean as Steve Jobs kept Next when Steve Jobs was at Next.
Wow.
Because these people are running their own race, and that's true leadership and heroism. You know, we get hurt if we don't get applause, but the real question is, why do we need applause? If we were intimate and locked into our genius and our creativity and our values and our worth, and if we truly adored ourselves for who we are, well, then we'd be an army of one in our businesses. And for anyone who's listening, I know you have a lot of entrepreneurs. Is this valuable? You know, the 5 a.m. club, building yourself for an hour using the 20-20-20 formula one of the things I say in the book is you will never rise any higher in terms of your exterior empires than your interior empires. And we live in a world that thinks the doorway to success opens outward. But I believe it opens inward. And so it's when you work on yourself and you start to understand your creativity and you work on your neurobiology and you build your character and you start to know what you want to stand for and you actually start to architect the person you want to be and the life you want to construct. That's when you go out there and you do great things. And for all your entrepreneurs, is serving even of value? Well, what made Apple under Steve Jobs was he was so monomaniacally focused on bringing magic into the marketplace, he created a cult of Apple because of his commitment to serve. Right? If you haven't built that inner core and you don't want to serve, well, then you're going to be a taker from your clients versus running what I call the 10x value obsession, which is giving your clients, you know, one of my intentions in the 5 a.m. club was in 333 pages, give people more value than they could possibly imagine. That's why I spent 4 years of hard labor on the book. And so it's when you really care and you want to serve and you want to have an impact on people, well, that's when you go to the jagged edges of your creativity. That's when you bring on your fire to your work and your life, because you're not coming from taking, you're coming from serving. And that does translate into business success as well as personal success.